This is number 3 of the rhythm section of our videos, and today we're going to talk about time signatures. We established that this chart gives you the relationship between the different kinds of notes: whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, 16th notes, eighth notes, and 16th notes. The relationship: 2 half notes in a whole note, 2 quarter notes in a half note, 2 eighth notes in a quarter note, 2 16th notes in each eighth note. And yeah, just a little aside, these eighth notes can be freestanding. They don't have to be linked together. They can have their own little tail like that. The same is true of 16th notes. Sometimes you'll see them written alone like that. That's not joined. Okay, just a little aside there. All right, so if we're going to talk about time signatures today, we need to know that the time signature is found in every piece of music, not a chord chart, but every piece of written music on the far left at the very end of the staff on the left side. And it is 2 numbers that are stacked up on top of each other. There's 2 numbers. We're going to use these 2 today to just be simple and easy to start with. We're going to say that we're in 4/4 time. Now, the bottom note tells you what kind of a note, which one of these gets 1 count. All right? So if it's a 4 on the bottom, think about your fractions now. It's a quarter. Okay? So it's a quarter note that gets 1 count. So this guy is going to have 1 count. Okay? One of them. For a quarter note gets 1 count. The top number tells you how many counts in each measure. Now, measures are up and down lines. Very messy up and down line that separate groups of notes. It's just like when you're reading a written page. If the words were all blended together, it would be very difficult to read. So we separate our words on the page with a little space. In music, we separate it with a bar line or a measure line. Okay, so the top number is going to tell us how many counts in each measure. We know that each one of them is a quarter note, and now by the 4 on the top, we know that there's 4 counts in the measure. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what this time signature tells you. The bottom number tells you that a quarter note gets 1 count, and the top number tells you that there's 4 counts in every measure. So the next measure would have to have 4 counts again. 1, 2, 3. They're looking like cherries over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. There would be 4. Now, they don't have to always be just quarter notes. Otherwise, music would be, I went to the store today. I went to buy an apple. Boring. So we can make rhythm with the other notes as long as it adds up to 4 counts. So let's see what we could do. Let's say the first note, we're going to do another measure down here, and it's going to be 4/4. Well, let's actually just erase it and try it again. We'll make it something other than just do, 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 do. Let's start with a do, though. Okay, so we got 1 count there. Do. Now we could put in a do day. Together, they equal 1 count. So we've got 1 count here, 1 count here. We've got 2 more to go. What do you want to do? Well, we could do a half note because there's 2 counts in a half note. Or we could do a due-to-data. And we could put a rest at the end. How about that? There's a 4/4 measure. 1 beat, and then a do-day, due-to-data, rest. Do-day, due-to-data, rest. Do-day, due-to-data, rest. A couple more, and then I'm going to bring up the flashcards for you. 1 more. How about if we started with a do-woo? How many counts is that one going to be? If this is worth, I'm going to do a little arrow out here. This is worth 1 count. That assigns values now to all of these relationships. If this is 1 count, and there's 2 of them in there, then this has got to be worth 2. Okay, and if there's 2 of these inside of that, 2 plus 2, this has got to be worth 4. If there's 2 of these in there, then each one of these has to be a half. You see how it's mathematical? And inside these have to be a quarter. That's why in my due day system, this bottom line has 4 parts. Do, ta, day, ta. Because we're dividing this one beat into 4 parts. Do, ta, day, ta. Okay? Clear as mud, I bet. All right, let me confuse you just a little bit more before we stop today. And that is that sometimes the top number is different from the bottom number. For instance, 3/4 time is pretty common. It's what we waltz to. Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 dum, da, dum. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's a waltz. Okay, so the 3 tells you that there's 3 counts in the measure. We've got to have 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have a bar line. The 4 tells you what kind of a note gets 1 count. Quarter notes get 1 count. So we could put 3 quarter notes. 1, 2, 3. That would be perfectly acceptable. I just put those hash marks up there to show you that we had to have 3. Okay, so we've got 3. Now, we could change it around. What if we did a do day, a quarter note, and another quarter note? No bar. The bar means it's one of these, so it's a do day, do day, do day, do day, do, do, do day, do, do, do day, do, do. Let's do one more in 3/4 time. What if we started out? Do you think we could do this? Think about it. The bottom note tells you what kind of a note gets 1 count. So a quarter note, that's this, the do. Each one of these gets 1 count. And there's 3 of them in a measure. 1, 2, 3. A whole note gets 4. You can't have a whole note because there's only 3 beats in the measure, and the whole note gets 4 since the quarter note gets 1. So we can't do that. We could start with a half note. Let's do that. So there's do. This could be a do. It could be a rest. It could be a do day. It could be a do to data with 2 bars. Do to data, do to data. 1, 2, 3. Do to data, do to data. All right, enough of that. If that has been difficult, don't worry about it. It's going to get much easier when I bring out the flashcards, and it'll be a piece of cake. Yeah, but just think about that, getting it in your body. Try, when you walk across the base today, think about 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, 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 do. Keeping it steady. And one of the biggest difficulties musicians have, they slow down on the hard parts. Speed up on the slow parts. No, you can't do that. Can't do that. All right? So thank you for coming, and I'll talk to you next time.